nervous. No, I'm kidding.
You did so
I'm
many-
actually really excited.
You did so many pitches as you probably don't care to talk on the camera.
I'm excited to
And
be here with
see.
you.
Do you have any worst story from your startup experience?
I was lost, I was confused, and truly, I just started crying. And that happened. Like, that was a true thing. Because when you're small, anything can happen. If you don't have the protections, you don't have the resource in place to prevent bad things just as much as you don't have the protections and scaffolding, so to speak, to facilitate good things.
I think every business going through tough time. It's
Yes.
impossible to grow business and be always secure and protect
right.
and no risk, right?
Right.
You have to always be under the pressure, no other option.
You just become at peace with it. But that means you're doing something great.
Yeah,
So-
it's something great. But people who was wrong, they probably will, but earlier or later, they will not finish.
I agree.
You have to be, it's karma. You have to do good stuff.
Couldn't agree more.
Can we start from, introduce yourself a little bit. Where are you originally from? Which city?
Yeah, absolutely. Briefly, my name is Christian Hines. I actually have spent most of my life in the Midwest. I was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri, and that's where I did a lot of my academic work. So I studied there in engineering at Washington University in St. Louis, and then I followed with a JD, and I eventually became a patent law. I studied at Washington University in St. Louis as well.
Nice. And what kind of degree did you guys have?
So the undergraduate degree was a Bachelor's of Science in Computer
Science and
Science
Computer.
and Computer Engineering.
Oh, okay.
My emphasis was software. I always enjoyed coding. Believe it or not, I used to be a coder.
It's hard to believe.
I used to burn the midnight oil and stay up all night coding. I've since moved on from that, but I used to really enjoy it.
But you're still very close to this industry, right? Can you explain, also, you had some connection to law.
Yes, as I mentioned, I obtained my JD from Washington University,
okay, yeah.
Juris Doctorate in St. Louis as well. And I used the foundation of computer science, computer engineering
Got it,
to
no.
pursue patent law.
Yeah.
So really, to your point, both of those foundational bricks, if you will, allowed me to be where I am today.
Got it. And what is did you have some kind of dream to be entrepreneur? Always like to start something, or someone motivate you, or you found idea? How this happened with you that you came to the road to be entrepreneur?
You know, it's an interesting question. I think the short answer is yes. But I found that during my practice of law, so again, I was an intellectual property lawyer,
Okay.
I was sitting on the other side of the table, so to speak, with a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of inventors protecting their work.
Well,
So that allowed me to see kind of the technologies and the inventions that were on the forefront of society. But if I have to be honest, I always thought I should have been on the other side. I had this burning desire in my heart to be on the other side of the table.
nice. And you said, can you describe more for people? Maybe someone have idea how lawyers can protect you if you have, it's patents, licensing. What is that exactly? What lawyers for startups? How lawyers important for startups?
Yeah, so I think there's a bit to unpack there, but in short, I would recommend that any young entrepreneur obtain protection for the foundational aspects of their invention or their company, but then at the same time be cognizant and wary of spending too much overprotecting. So if you have a core device, of course, obtain patent protection for that, but then you don't necessarily need to rush, at least with my experience, into trademark, copyright protections, etc.
Not important from a beginning stage.
Correct.
Not that important, because usually people have some idea and they scared to share, or because someone can steal it, or they don't wanna, they hold in themselves and don't wanna have co-founders, they don't wanna cooperate with anyone because of this fear, like, oh my God, someone will take it. This is not true, right? In a startups world.
Yes and no. I mean, look, I appreciate that point, but what I would say is if you're in a startup, again, try and obtain that protection if it's a very, very important aspect of your business. But the beautiful thing about others trying to copy you is effectively you're creating a market. And if you have a marketplace, you know that what you're working on is valuable, right? Just compare it to the auto industry, right? There's so many different types of cars being manufactured, and that industry is huge, but all the different types are getting their piece of the pie. The hardest part about entrepreneurship is determining whether your marketplace is even a valid marketplace, in my humble opinion.
Got it. And you decided you want to be an entrepreneur. You found idea, or you first found, are you co-founder, or you founder, solo founder?
I'm a co-founder with my identical twin brother, Christopher Hines, so.
Okay, with your brother.
Yes.
That first was idea, or first was you just decided I want to be an entrepreneur?
I think it's kind
Because
of.
many people, even in our cohort, want to start business, and they
Right.
try to find idea.
Right. So I will say just briefly, it wasn't my first time running a business. I also run a real estate business. So I had experience being an entrepreneur.
Okay.
The current business that I'm working on now, we then came upon the idea together.
What's the name of the company?
So the name of the actual company is DOB NGU Corporation, and we do business as Semi.
Semi. This startup about in which industry? Finance, entertainment.
Sure. So the way I would describe it is we are in the web and mobile space. Succinctly
and
put,
mobile
web and mobile space. We're a platform that operates in the web and mobile space.
Can you describe us a little bit what if maybe potential customer can use this app? I download your app. What I can do with this app?
Yeah, absolutely. So to describe Semi, like what we allow for is our partners to send promotional. Our partners could be as small as a local mom and pop coffee shop or as
Okay.
big as Coca-Cola to send curated and promotional content to be received and manipulated at a mobile device.
Okay.
Okay, so partners sending curated and promotional content to be received at a mobile device.
For example,
Right, now that you know what we do though, to really understand what Semi does, I want you to envision a mall.
mall.
Okay, think mall back in the day. So we would go to this mall. You'd go for various reasons. You'd go because you were with your family. You'd go because you were on a date. You'd go because you wanted to shop. You might even go because you want to kick it. But when you got to that mall, when you got there, all the stores and the partners were there, right? The stores somehow had to get your attention or engage with you. So they used to do this in various ways, right? So they would do things like put the chalkboard tents out in front. Sometimes they would have tastings. Sometimes they would have the window clings up, anything to get you, once you got to the mall, to go into the store. Semi is building a virtual mall, so to speak, albeit decentralized. Now, we're not decentralized in the DeFi crypto point of view, but decentralized in that we're not in one physical location, okay? The value driver of our firm is the social aspect, because we focus on gifting. So here's your user journey that you might understand. A user gets on our app or our platform, and it's a two-sided platform, and they are engaging in the social aspect on the mobile side. So they're scrolling just like everyone does today, except they get a direct engagement, social engagement from one of their favorite partners, let's say Dunkin' Donuts. And Dunkin' Donuts gives them a new NFT or airdrop or something, but it entices them to then go engage with a particular physical location of Dunkin' Donuts on premise to redeem a digital representation of whatever Dunkin' Donuts sent them, as well as they can then engage with that NFT or that airdrop, etc. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, now makes sense. Then download app and use it. It's a great idea.
That's our dream, right?
And what stage you are right now? Because I know it's startup, many like seed stage, A, B, right?
So the landscape of venture capital has changed. I would say we're in between seed and A. So we've kind of accomplished our seed. We raised quite a bit of money, but now we're working to raise a larger amount of money so we can grow. So I would say back in the day we would have accomplished our seed, but nowadays it takes a little bit more, and
Market tough market
It's-
with raise capital.
Absolutely. Customers expect a perfect app, enterprise level app. We have an enterprise level app now. We've tested it in the marketplace. We know our sale, but now we just need the larger round to help grow and perfect all of those variables.
Got it. From your experience, what's the most toughest moment you had during this path?
Oh man, that's a great question, Roman. I think the
Technical side,
yeah, that's
finance
right.
side, people.
I
I'm
would-
from more like traditional business.
Yes.
And for me, the toughest moment always like people.
Yep.
So hard now to make people wanted to work, work hard and do some old tradition kind of job.
I think the toughest part is getting people to understand our vision. You can obtain team members, we like to call them team members at SEMI, but until they truly understand our vision on their own, you continuously have to teach. And if a potential team member who's joining a new small firm can't grasp that because we don't have the resource, we just don't have enough information, they eventually become tired and we have a lot of attrition. And so you have to get enough consciousness around the concept that you're working on such that then you can offload some of that teaching to other people in your firm. So for Christopher and I, for example, my brother, the co-founder, building the technology was actually easier. Again, it's teaching the vision so then we can put it out in the marketplace once the technology has been built.
Got it. What do you think? Many people dream to start startup usually, no business startup. What advice from your experience you can give to these people? Is this good idea to start startup in our environment, or it's a lot of pros and cons? Leave the job, like this YouTube's usually, how they say it, people, YouTubers who just sell classes
Sure,
or something like that.
sure.
You leave your job, go start a business, everything be fine, put everything all in and all this stuff. What is your experience, or what is your advice?
I think if you're going to take this journey of entrepreneurship, and I think you might appreciate this, there must be something motivating you beyond yourself and, I hate to say it, monetary gain. Because when you wake up every day, at least at first, there's going to be a ton of problems. And so you have to, there must be something more for you. For me, for example, it's I want to give back. I want to build a company in America and give back to America. I want an American tech company that's here. And that motivation keeps me going because we've had many, many hurdles that we've had to overcome. It is very hard and it is very long, as you can imagine. So you do get tired. And then I will add to that, persistence is key.
Yeah, I hear one of the guys said you have to be ready to get negative information every day from your employee, from your customer, and just resolve them. This is your business purpose, or as a businessman. You get in a lot of negative and toxic information, you have to resolve and move forward.
That's
No
right.
one will come to you and say everything great, we're so profitable. Usually it's opposite. We don't have enough money, we have problem with employees and all this stuff, and you have to be just live in negative environment all the time. It's not like butterfly in a rainbow. Even
That's
for,
right.
I think for small business, even more than, okay, huge corporation works in different way. But when you start from small, put bricks by bricks, you have to be ready for that.
That's right. I couldn't agree more. And what I would add to what you so eloquently said is that, leaders in startups are kind of like cheerleaders. We celebrate the smallest wins because really we're getting people to move on our behalf. You're at a point when you're bringing something to life, you just have to move and you have to move forward. It's not going to be perfect. You don't have infrastructure or the processes. And so your job, your goal is to get people to move. And so to your point, you're kind of like a consultant and a cheerleader.
Yeah. Christian, do you remember we had class with you in Dubai? It was about startup world, phase 0.
Yes.
And one of the professors said, I argued with him a little bit, and he said, like, what is most important for startup, revenue or profit? And I'm like from traditional business, profit. He said, wrong answer, revenue is most important, even if you're unprofitable, doesn't matter. Because you have to sell your business, all this stuff, right? Like start the company, raise money, and sell it, do exit.
That's right.
And I said, like, from my experience, I just didn't have chance to do this because if I'm not profitable, I don't have money to pay. I'm not startup, I can raise money, and I'm done. but his opinion was opposite. And we talk after class with few people. Some people support me, said like, yeah, your point makes sense. Now it's everyone about revenue and exit, exit, exit. But if you build company for next generation and other stuff, right? What is your opinion about that? Like from startup world.
Sure, I hate to admit it, but
Revenue is
in
important.
this ecosystem, I'm going to respectfully disagree with you and say cash is king, baby. I mean, what you're trying to do with the startup that you're building from scratch, in my humble opinion, is show that it works. You're trying to show your marketplace exists, and so you just want to generate as much revenue as possible. Where we are at, and for example, is we have now shown revenue. It's nominal, but it's there, and so then you get the capital that comes in to allow you to kind of focus on the things that you're talking about, which is you have revenue, now we need to make profits, so forth and so on. But at first, the most important thing is to show that people want what you have.
What is your favorite book?
Oh, my favorite book. So, John Irving, A Prayer for Owen Meany, but that's like, for fun, enjoyment. I really like the author John Irving, but I'd have to say, on the business side, I read a lot of business books. Most recently, I read 2 books. Hidden Potential by Adam Grant, I believe. Yes. And Wanting by Luke, I believe it's Burgess. Both of those are very good. I would recommend them to any person who's interested in business books.
Got it. Do you have any big dream which you follow? It's not supposed to be only in business or...
Yeah, I mean, I think like anyone, I probably have the all-American dream, I hope to have a big family. I need to get moving. I will say that entrepreneurship kind of delays things at times. I want to, but more importantly with that, I want to be able to give back. And I'm hoping that I can be able to do that, give back to the community in which I live through the company that I'm trying to build. I believe that companies, and people are going to debate this widely, but I believe companies have moved away from giving back to the communities in which they operate. They no longer serve them, they serve their shareholders. Now, obviously there's laws and protections around that, and we all know why, but I want to kind of be one of the pioneers or the leaders, or hope to kind of change that again, and be the leader of a company one day that gives back to the community in which it operates, regardless of maximizing profit.
Got it. Do you have any worst story from your startup experience?
Yes, absolutely. So first, let me just say, when you're starting a young firm, a lot of bad things happen. The way I view that is, that's the storm before the calm. In other words, the test before success. But so the way we operate is right now, it was a time in which we were all remote. So all of the employees were remote. And so one of the things I do is on Slack, I send our icon and I cheerlead for everyone just to make sure everyone's up and at it during the day. This particular day, I did that and I got no response from anyone. So that was alarming, but I let it go because I had things to do. Later that afternoon, I checked in by posting on Slack to our general channel again, and I got no response. At the time, my VP of sales, she was a difficult team member to work with, and it was getting worse. So going back to that day, later I checked in with her, and I couldn't get any responses. And finally I got a hold of my brother, and we found out that she was trying to run a coup. In other words, she was trying to take over the company and she wanted to run it. And she had gotten all of my other team members on board, so no one was responding to me.
Wow.
So this is a moment in time where I had no idea what to do. I was lost, I was confused, and truly, I just started crying. And that happened. Like, that was a true thing. Because when you're small, anything can happen. You don't have the protections, you don't have the resource in place to prevent bad things just as much as you don't have the protections and scaffolding, so to speak, to facilitate good things. And so what happened is, about 2 days later, after reflecting and after me potentially losing my mind, I got back up and I decided that what I was going to do is just send to the semi-general channel again the same thing, the icon, and do some cheerleading. And right after I did that, my brother responded. It was just me and him. Everybody else had been terminated. We had to let everybody go. So we're just the two left. But his response let me know we had to keep going. And the reason I share this with you is if you are going to be an entrepreneur, if you are going to go down this path, crazy things like this happen. There's no way to prevent them. But you have to find a way in yourself to keep going.
Move forward. I think it's great, great story. And I think you shared in our class with about this, about code.
That's
something.
right, that
This is
happened
what
too.
happened, and people try to help you from Kellogg.
That's right.
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
and I did get that help, and that is a testament to the great network here. I got a lot of advice on what to do when your code is stolen, and I very much implemented that, and that was great.
Also, I hear like stories from one of the company. When you get bigger, there's no chance that no one will suit you. Like competitors, they will
That's
try
right.
to suit you to destroy your company, not to make money on that, just to destroy because they're big.
That's right.
They'll just open the case and start suit the small startup just to destroy them. Or they try to acquire. If you don't want to acquire, said okay, we'll like make your company down. This is true.
It is. Fortunately, I haven't had to go down that path yet, but I at that point in time, I'm hoping that I'll be surrounded by great people who can help defend.
Yeah, I think every business going through tough time. It's
Yes.
impossible to grow business and be always secure and protect
That's right.
and no risk, right?
Right.
You have to always be under the pressure. No other option.
You just become at peace with it. But that means you're doing something great.
Yeah,
So-
it's doing something great. But people who was wrong, they probably will, but earlier or later, they will not finish it.
I agree.
You have to be, it's karma. You have to do good stuff.
Couldn't agree more.
Thank you so much and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.